Is someone else here?
It seems like it. Breathing. Fourth form. Shifting flow slash.
Timmy! It hurts!
Don't lose your nerve. This demon is a mass murderer. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to dodge that attack. Did I get him? Why isn't he fighting back? Is he not upper rank? I'll take this one! If we can strike them simultaneously!
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 151. Yes, 151 of the Lookout Podcast. We are still here at Kame House. Well, actually, you just came back to Kame House. You decided to take an excursion somewhere else completely.
I went to the worst city in America.
Worse?
Worst city in America, easily. This is my least favorite place I've ever traveled to.
Talk about Vegas for a quick second. Like, why is it the worst city in America?
Vegas just doesn't fit who I am, bro. I'm not like...
It has no culture. It has no thing. It's
Vegas. It's just like, you're there. I think like you're in Vegas for 48 hours max to go on some crazy binger and then you leave. Which essentially is exactly what happened. And it was hot. It was like 106. I was there for 36 hours and it was 106 the day I was there.
No, that's not.
Yeah, that's not cool. I don't know. I dislike Vegas, but I had a good time. I got to see my friends. Shout out to my boy Chuck.
Any good food in Vegas? Any good food?
I did eat at this spot called Catch, but there's one in New York. So I don't want to feel like I found like this like underground, like, oh, this little hole. Nah, they got a couple locations in different states, but Catch was good. I had some.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I could never.
What, grilled octopus? I love grilled octopus so much. That is something I can rant on a bit.
Food in me is just, I'm very picky. So grilled octopus is just very like, nah. I'm looking at it. It probably tastes good. If you were having it, I'd be like, yeah, I'll try it, but I wouldn't order it myself.
It was good. Had some few different types of sushi rolls there, and that was pretty much it. But no, I had a good time though. Had a good time. Like I said, got to see my friends who I haven't been able to see in a while, and so anytime I'm able to make a trip to go out and see them and have some fun, caught a couple of summer league games. It was a good time though, man.
Did you see Wembiana at all?
No, it's crazy. I ran into him like 6 times.
Wow.
He's I feel that he's taller than what he's listed as, but also I'm short, so
he's 7'5", so. If they're like lowballing his height, that would be nuts.
No, he is really tall, and once again, I'm 5'9", and so obviously standing someone next to 7'5", I'm gonna be like, nigga, you're not 7'5", you're like 7'7", like you easily. But no, it was like. Oddly enough, the hotel I was staying at, a lot of the players and people were staying at too. So me and him just happened to stay in the same hotel, and so I walked past him a couple times. Didn't say anything. I don't really be like, oh my gosh, but
you don't have to be. Oh my! I'm never an oh my god person when it comes to celebrities.
I feel
like, yo, what up?
that's so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I got my AirPods in, you got your AirPods in. We still both living in our own little bubble and world. So
But
I'm
here's
just like,
the thing, but they know they're a celebrity. That's the thing. Like, it comes to the territory.
Seeing though how other people were reacting to him, like, dude got star status already. Like, I'm talking about like grown men waiting outside of a hotel when he's coming out, like screaming.
Well, it's
like,
because it's summer. It's because it's summer league.
Yeah,
like, it's because it's sports fans out there waiting for him. But if it was like a regular night, just kind of like out, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the case to that kind of level. But since everyone is like centered in on Vegas for summer league, I'm sure that's gonna happen. But like with me and I'm like, if I see a celebrity, I'm like, yo, what up? Like that's kind of like how I treat these kind of things.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm cool. I'm always polite and always cordial. Like, you know, if we like make eye contact, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, like I'm not gonna be like, you're big time, so I'm gonna try. Like, it's never that. It's always just kind of. I think that knowing. No, I'm saying, like, I think just like also knowing people who be on in terms of popularity and status, and like knowing people like that, like I still just see them as humans. I'm just like, bro, you're a guy who can shoot a basketball really fucking well. Like, that's how I kind of see it, and this how I try to treat it. At the end of the day, you're still a person though, man. Like, that's how I treat it. I want to treat you like a person, man, and be respectful of your space, be respectful of your time.
Right. No, that's how I treat it too. Like, I'm very much so that. I think it's the New Yorkness. Because New York, it's like, it's so busy and it's so moving, and people will walk by you, and it's just like you constantly keep moving. So like, I think celebrities like coming out here because they won't get like completely ravaged in the streets.
Yeah.
It'll usually be like someone will see them, yo, what up, and keep it moving. And that's kind of like how things kind of work over here. So I never have that like experience where I'm like, oh my god, and then there's like 40 million people. Like, nah. And even if it's that, I'll just usually, if I really want to meet the person, I'll cut everybody. I don't like lines.
Yeah.
I'll just like pass through, like, yo, excuse me, yo, what up, and then I'll leave it as that. But realistically, like, you know, people are celebrities, you know. I
think it's different.
I agree. I wouldn't go out my way. Like the weekend where like everyone is gonna be on his ass, I'm like, you know what, I'll leave him alone. If it's meant to be, I'll catch him another time.
I'll say this though, the one cool thing that I actually enjoyed and just peeped out while I was there, obviously NBA Summer League's happening. A lot of fans are out there, and like a lot of like younger kids were out there, like, you know, teenagers, preteens and stuff like that. And it was just really cool because for them, this is like really the only time they will be in, like, have that type of access and you know, be in the same space as a lot of those guys. And I don't know, I think it was just really cool to see like so many young fans be there and be like, yo, I met Donovan Mitchell today, yo, I met this guy, yo, I met that guy, yo, I met X, Y, and Z and this guy and that guy. And no, I think that's just really cool for, especially for like younger fans, because when is any other time during the season you're ever gonna be able to, you know, obviously it was weird like being at the craps table and seeing like a bunch of 13-14 year olds walk around the casino, but no, I think it's
baby,
Vegas for real. But no, I think that aspect of it is really cool, the fact that like younger fans and like kids are able to kind of have this moment to access these guys, and you know, seeing kids walk around with 1,000 autographs on a basketball, I'm just like, that's cool. I'm like, man, that kid's gonna remember that shit forever. Like, he's I
think it's cool because they pretty much, this is the first year they're doing NBA Con, so it's like, this is, and it's a great idea. I'm not sure, like, I'm pretty sure it'll be expanded as years come on, but yeah, like you said, it's a great idea for access to these people who've always wanted to meet their stars, can't really meet them. Usually the closest you get to them is like you in the stands and they're on the court and you're watching them play, and then after you just kind of like hope for an autograph, but like if they lose or if they're not in a good mood, they're not really going to want to deal with it. Like, you're pretty much bothering them at work. So for them to have this where people can, you know, at least like, hey, what's up, you know, big fan.
Yeah.
Love this moment. Like it's a great thing. These NBA guys, they're superstars. They're superheroes to these people. So
yeah, and yeah, it was cool, and like obviously they all were very chill and they all were very cool. Like obviously, I think
they niggas just like us.
Yeah, they niggas just like no, like for real though, they really are. I don't know. I think that's, man, like as somebody who I'm about to, let me not go into a super tangent, but like, and we can get started on this episode. But I don't know. I think we're all granted gifts in this world, and I think that like seeing these guys really use their gifts and use their talents to do whatever they're, and do it at the highest level. But once again, like they're people just like us. And I think that's just really cool. And it's cool when they're grounded like that too, when they're just kind of just like, man, listen, like, yes, do I make more than 99% of the world and in Americans? Yeah, but like, and do I have a certain level of status and popularity with people? Like, yeah, but end of the day, like, you see them with their friends, and you see them like it's cool, like seeing them with their friends. Like they're just normal, everyday guys like us. They like to laugh at the same shit. They think the same shit's funny. They, like it's cool. I think that, like I said, I think it's cool to see those guys in that light. I think that sometimes they can get dehumanized a lot, and like to see them in that space and see them like that is cool.
Well, speaking of dehumanized,
yeah, that was a great segue.
It was a great segue. I caught it myself. You threw it up. I caught it. Speaking of dehumanized, let's get into the pretty much anime we're talking about this week. We're doing the Summer Kame House series. If you're not familiar as of yet, make sure you go back to the last episode. Check out our last thing on Mob Psycho Season 2 with Pat. This episode, we're covering something fairly recent, just ended a couple weeks ago, and that is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Swordsmith Village arc. I don't know what number arc this is, but we're getting pretty close to the end, actually. We're probably closer to the end than we are the beginning of this series, with this arc concluding. Actually, we are indefinite closer to the end. That's all I've been telling people, essentially, is like, when people ask me, essentially, like, oh, Swordsmith Village arc, how is the arc? I'm like, it's cool. We're close to the end, though. So, like, if you want to, I've told them that in, like, thing for the next arc as well, because the next arc is pretty much a training arc. Like, we're close to the end.
I mean, Demon Slayer does what a lot.
If you want to hang on, if you want to just like, all right, let me wait, we're pretty close to the end.
Yeah. No, I think Demon Slayer, I mean, it does what I feel a lot of different animes do, especially when they get close to the end of, they kind of draw back a bit, because usually the end is a sprint. They really want to close out strong. There's, obviously when you have a main villain, like you're preparing for this like last battle, you're preparing for these things. So I feel it's just one of those moments where I still feel that this arc is really good, but you can definitely tell there was in comparison to what we've seen already, there was definitely a bit of a drawback of just like, all right, let me kind of ease the brakes a bit, or like ease the gas a bit, and because when we get to the end, I'm gonna like rev back up.
I see this arc as probably the last time you'll see something like this. And for sure, this is probably the last time you'll see something like this. Of like, essentially, it kind of like, it's not necessarily a mission they go on because trouble comes to them. Like, it's not not them going out and looking like, oh, we got to save this town because at night they're abducting, teenage girls. It's not that shit. It's like, he was chilling out. Trouble came to them. Two of them came to them. Actually, let's start this fucking arc. So it's the Swordsmith Village arc. We're here. Very much so anticipated. I think I'm going to ask you this question at the end of this, but I just want you, I want to put the question on the table right now so you can think about this. I still want to know why this is the most popular anime out right now. Not necessarily like I have any bad qualms about it, but I'm even after watching this arc, it's not that I'm still trying to find the answer, but I feel like there isn't just one main answer. There isn't just like one thing, but it's a very like, there's a couple of things about why this is so like popular, But realistically, when you compare it to other shows, when you compare Tanjiro to other main characters, when you compare the stakes that are on this show compared to other shows, it doesn't really live up. But somehow, this is still one of the better, more well-received, more popular animes of this generation. So I want to hold that question to the end.
Okay. All right.
Just keep it tucked in your brain.
Keep
We're gonna
it tucked.
start off.
All right.
Right. We're gonna start off. I got this section. It's called Muzan is pissed, which is how we start this arc. Because Muzan, essentially, this is the first time there's been any shift in the upper moon rank. So the upper moon, I mean, I'm not gonna explain upper moon. Watch the other shit. I'm not gonna do the whole backstory thing because this is gonna take too long to do all this stuff. Essentially, this is the first change that's ever been in the upper moons because of the last arc, the entertainment district arc, where they kill, I think it's Gyutaro or something along those lines.
And that was upper rank 7?
Six.
6.
So it's the bottom of the upper ranks, but still the upper rank themselves. So it's upper rank 6. This is the first time that there's been any shift in the kind of like status of upper moon. So Muzana's like, we're calling an emergency meeting. This is like some work shit. Like keys went missing. Everybody needs to be.
He definitely sent out the all company email and was just like, hey, somebody fucked up. Somebody
report
fucked
to
up
the Infinity Castle now. Muzan wants to see everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing I got about this arc, and I don't want to about this part, is that the Infinity Castle plays a large part in an arc coming up. So kind of just getting to see it a little more fleshed out to me is like, oh, this arc is about to go crazy when it happens in the future. But then also, not only just the arc comes in play in the future, but you get to see kind of like all the upper moons finally interact with one another, which was an interest. You see that there's like competition within one of them. They don't necessarily like one another. They're coworkers. They're like, they just, one of them likes to fuck around. One of them don't like to be fucked with. One of them is quiet. One of them is shit. So it's like, it's an interesting dynamic to see kind of like all of them together, kind of like how you would see the Hashira, all gathered together in like the first season of the show.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite upper moon as we're here?
What's his name? The one that punched the hole in Rengoku's
Akaza.
chest. Akaza, there we go. I love Akaza. I feel that he is like, not to say he's like the runt of the group, but they treat him like it.
He's like, yeah, I can see why you like him. I feel like he's the pop off guy. Like he's the fighter.
And also too, I mean, no spoilers in this, but when you read the manga and you see his backstory, you see his connection. I think his story as a whole is very enjoyable.
But I also feel like they're ragging on him because it was like, yo, we thought it was you who died since we heard you was running away from me. Them boys had you on the run. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know. And it's like, in reality too, it's not like that's not true. It was the sun. The sun started coming up and he ran off.
Hey man, he ran from something, damn it. But yeah, I mean, they had him on the ropes for them not to just like completely just kill Rengoku and the other kids immediately and really have to put up a fight. I think that's what they were kind of teasing about.
Yeah,
because Muzan coming in here and it's like, yo, y'all supposed to be like the 2016 Warriors, but you're more like the 2023 Celtics at this point. Like you guys are not living up to your potential in any way. So Muzan says, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna nip this thing in the bud. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna send Upper Moon 5 and Upper Moon 4 on a mission. Because he wants bodies. He wants people dead. He wants a blue spider lily. He's like, yo, it's been like 100, 300 years that I've been asking you niggas to find this shit. And no one has found it. So he sends out Hentengu. Hentengu is, so I've got a little synopsis on him. Hentengu is the one demon that they essentially at the end of the arc they're chasing to fucking kill. Incredibly ugly, just very just incredibly ugly. He was a liar According, all right, so let me go. According to the bio, even as a child, Hentengu was a frequent liar who deflected blame towards him onto anyone else. He committed a lot of heinous crimes. He stole from numerous people and murdered others in various towns. Eventually, he killed his boss, or no, he killed a man over lack of sympathy towards him, is what they say. And
he's
so
he's a real shiesty guy.
Yeah,
and he tries to play victim.
Right, but he's finally captured and he's about to be sentenced to death. And then, while he's in prison and waiting his execution, he was approached by Muzan, who offered to help him after taking pity on the situation. Muzan decided to give him some of his blood, transform him into a demon. Hey, here we are. And then we have Gyoko. Whatever. The water type. He is
the water type Pokemon.
That's essentially what I'm calling him. He's the water one. There's always one. He was born at a village at the end of a coastline, village known for fishing when he was young. I'm saying the story now so you don't have to worry about it when they all die, because they give you the story anyway. When he was young, his parents went out on a fishing trip and never returned, as they would end up drowning far out from sea. After some time, their mangled corpses washed up and appeared on the village shore. Upon seeing his parents' bodies, his human name was Menagi, developed a grotesque fascination with corpses. Villagers would often see him obsessing over fish carcasses he found, leading to an entire community to ostracize him and keep their distance. Fair. Eventually, a child found Menagi and teased him for his unusual behavior, leading to Menagi killing the child and stuffing the body in a pot used for fishing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. When the child's parents discovered him dead and Menagi had been responsible, they stabbed him with a fishing spear and left him to die on the spot. And then, of course, any kid who's on the near brink of death who seems to be a weirdo, Muzan pulls up. Heard the world ain't really feeling you.
Yeah, no,
he
definitely
you don't have to make him feel anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? So,
Muzan always pulls up. Yeah, Muzan always pulls up with the handrail, like, I'm up to no good.
It says, like, listen, man, I got something for you, and transforms them into a demon of upper rank or something.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Swordsmith village part. So Tanjiro wakes up.
Also, going back, just random. They're going back to the upper moons. Obviously, when this dropped, there was a weird love for Upper Moon 1, Kokushibo. Internet went wild for that one. I saw some crazy takes about Kokushibo. You were saying best designed villain. Yeah, I was just like, all right, his design is cool. How he looks is cool. I'm like, you gotta.
Yeah, you like everybody else in the show. Except a little bit more, from a different era. Yeah. He just from a different era, but nonetheless, the Swordsmith village part. So Tanjiro wakes up, presumably from the last arc. Finally wakes up, doesn't have a sword. They say, yo, get your ass over to the Swordsmith village. They'll hook you up with a sword. You get, everything that you kind of need. So he's transported to the Swordsmith village. He meets
which is very hidden and very
as it should, we don't like to show them where the weapons of mass destruction are. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, just the Swordsmith people having their own village and kind of having their own, everyone wears their mask, everyone is kind of insane, everyone is real gun-ho about fucking forging these, things. And he meets the love Hashira, Mitsuri Kanroji, Misuri. She has a backstory that is explored in the whole. My problem is she had a backstory that took up half of a fucking episode, and then also
it wasn't even interesting.
No, it wasn't even interesting. I also think, Tokido is a little bit more interesting than her, but it definitely wasn't that interesting to be taking up. you realize, I think the idea they're trying to push is like a lot of these backstories between the demons and the humans aren't really that different.
Yeah, it's always just like, how can we up the ante on sadness? Like,
right.
how can we make these people more trauma filled than the next?
Right, but the Hashira story is like, been killed. My family was killed by a demon, and so now that is why they're against demons, which is fair.
It's different sides of the same coin. It's like either the person's almost getting killed and gets turned into a demon, or a demon kills the other person and now they hate all demons.
Absolutely. So then we also meet Genya, who appears in the show for a relevant role from the first time since the first season. Like, shout out to Zeno, who voices him, waiting 4 seasons to appear in the show is like, we got to check for you, but show started 2019. You got to wait till 2023 to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. They definitely.
He ain't get to be in none of the movies, and get to do none of the panels, and get to do nothing. You got to just chill. You know what I'm saying?
He got that Bobby Bonilla contract. Like, we finna just defer the payment out.
Right. We got you, but like,
yeah, you don't play for us no more, really, but you still on payroll, if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And Genya is the younger brother of the Wind Hashira, Sanemi. They have an interesting backstory as well when they explore Genya's kind of past, and it was like, oh, a demon came in. His mother went out to go work. Then she didn't come back. They're like, yo, this is kind of crazy. So Sanemi's like, yo, I'm going to try to go find her. A demon pulls up out of nowhere, kills every kid except Genya. And then Sanemi comes back, tries to save them. He chases the demon. Genya eventually chases the demon as well he might really go find a doctor. But ends up chasing the demon and finds that Sanemi has killed the demon, and then they find out the demon was their mom. So their relationship isn't great because Genya's like, yo, you killed our mom. You're kind of wildin'. But Sanemi's like, yo, she was actually wildin' because she killed her own children. It's it's giving me like the relationship between, what's my name?
It's
what's his name?
Itachi.
Yeah.
It's like one you gotta do, one had to do for the greater good of the surviving members or the last, and it's just like the other person just doesn't really understand, like, yo, didn't do this because I want to. It's just like, it was legit out of a necessity.
Right.
There's a lot of even going to Tokido's backstory, there's a lot of brotherly issues here, sibling issues.
It's I think I feel like we're finding out why the show's so popular. All the brother siblinghood and all the other stuff that people can kind of relate to. It's like, oh, they're brothers, and you don't have to find out like 5 arcs later that they're actually brothers or something. They just tell you all for it. Anyway, Tanjiro's in the city. He also bumps into Tokido, his backstory is kind of, I forgot what his actual backstory was now that I think about it.
Essentially, his he had a twin brother, mother, father. Dad was a woodworker. Mom was sick. One day, mom was sick, really bad. One night, dad went out in the rain to go grab some herbs. Mom ends up dying. Dad slips and falls off the cliff while trying to grab the herbs. They both die. Then it's just him and his twin brother. It's Muchiro and what's his brother's name? It's something
Yuchiro. Like, Muchiro and Yuchiro.
Yeah. So, essentially, they are fending for themselves, but they have grown very distant with each other because his twin brother is kind of like, yo, I told mom to stop working so much. Like, I told dad to like stay and not go out to get them herbs. Like, essentially, looking out for others is how you end up killing yourself. And then one night a demon comes, attacks, Tokido blacks out, kills and like mutilates the demon, obviously having no type of breathing technique. he just chops the demon up and like places his body in stakes until the sun comes up and watches it burn. But
Sweet.
his brother ends up dying because his brother ends up getting his arm chopped off and bleeds out. Trying to think, and then lady, the one that is the like wife or main caretaker for the big boss guy who's dying and blind. She essentially was like found them before and was trying to tell them like, yo, y'all come from a like lineage of samurais and like y'all need to, you know, come do this demon slayer thing. And they're like, man, nah, skip that, I'm not doing it. But she ends up coming to save them or save Tokido at the end of it because he got injured obviously in fighting the demon. So she tended to his wounds, but within that fight and all these things happen, he loses his memory somehow in the midst of all that. No, like real head trauma. He just loses his memory.
Just anime memory loss. You know what I'm saying?
Just a good old anime memory loss trope. Which and then
after
it came back though. Yeah, it came back with using
this is a whole episode. I was not, no offense. It's not that his backstory isn't interesting. I was just like, this doesn't need to be a whole episode.
No, it didn't need to be a whole episode at all.
He was in the water vase for like the whole episode. No, he was actually freed, and then he freed himself, and then they did the backstory, and it took up the entire episode. And then by the end of the episode, we were still exactly where we were at the beginning of the episode, which made me infuriated.
Yeah, it was.
The pacing of this show was like pretty much to stretch it out for I feel like this arc could have been a solid 7-8 episodes, and they decided to stretch it out.
I completely agree. This could have definitely been an 8 episode arc. Like you could have easily combined Tokido's and the other Hachira's backstory into one. And
they could have probably put the next arc in this arc. I mean, the next arc is kind of, it's not that it's long, but it's not short. Either.
I think the next arc, I mean,
it's a training arc. So
it's a training arc. So
I'm not sure how people are going to feel it, to be honest with you. You kind of really got to be in love with the characters. So, you know what I'm saying? That's one of them arcs.
This is like one of the but like this is one of the times though too where you end up meeting and kind of getting to know the rest of the Hashiras who have been kind of outside of season 1. Right. I mean, usually,
you haven't really seen them yet. Yeah. No, I feel you. Okay, well, you know, Tokido, he gets his backstory, and we end up
it's a lot of backstory this season. So much backstory.
Well, you gotta flesh out these characters. But you know, I think we're getting to this early so we can knock it out, because once we get to the actual fight, we're just gonna breeze through this shit. But they're introduced to this 5-armed puppet that a lot of people like to train with, and it helps make them stronger. You know, Tokido breaks it. He's very distant. He don't really fuck with. And we also meet what's my name's name? Kotetsu. And he's a little kid who's pretty much going to be a swordsmith at some point, and blah blah blah. But Tanjiro ends up training with the 6-armed thing, and he gets his training arc on. You know what I'm saying? But they expedite it because no one really wants to see him. If this was Naruto, this would have been like 6 episodes of him fighting.
Oh, easily.
6-arm guy who keeps beating his ass. Been backstory about it, all types of other shit like that, you know.
Mad shadow clones.
Yeah, all that stuff. But eventually, Tanjiro at the end of the episode, he breaks the puppet. Just like, whoa, fuck. And he finds a sword inside the puppet, and it's like, whoa. But the sword is really dinged up and dented and stuff. But Tanjiro gives him the blade, and someone will restore it to them. And then that is actually when the plot actually starts to begin at the end of the episode, because the 2 upper moons have officially made their presence in the village. How did they find the Swordsmith village? Is it really? Do they know? Do we know how they find it, or did they just kind of like?
Nah, it was just a leak. It was a leak in the intel. Somebody wasn't paying attention to their footsteps enough.
Right, joint mission. Before. So I don't know. Maybe Muzan knows where it was. But
I mean, even when he called the meeting, though, he said that is a Gyoko. He had like an important piece of information that they never really tell. It was just like he has some important information that I'm pretty sure that information was he found the Swordsmith's village where they make the swords.
I would hope so. Anyway, let's go. Battle with Hentengu, which is the ugly one. Apparently this ugly demon has a lot of feelings as well. This battle remind me of an annoying battle in a video game. Less about beating everyone and more about trying to find a way to kill this exact one thing. Hentengu reveals himself during a meeting with Tanjiro and Tokido. And the battle begins. They slice off his head. And as they slice off his head, he gets split into multiple demons that represent different various emotions: anger, pleasure, joy, and sorrow. But the only way they can kill him is if they kill the original tiny Hentengu. So killing all these other clones who are beating their ass is not going to do anything. And it becomes quite annoying during this entire thing. Tokido gets blasted away into a forest where he meets
Gyoko.
he meets Kotetsu, who's getting attacked by a giant fucking fish, and we'll return to that later. Because I want to focus on the Hentengu part. So the Hentengu part, they're having this battle. I mean, it's tough. I don't think it's any tougher than any of the other battles they've had before, to be honest with you. It seems more annoying than anything. But I didn't buy Hentengu as like this like threat. Like I felt like most other demons that have come this far have been like the Tamari one who had those volleyballs, the Tamari one, and then the guy who had arrows and shit who could like point it in different directions and kill people and blah, blah, blah. I feel like those were a threat. Like this guy, it's an interesting power to split into four, and they all are mean and kind of gang, and then
all got crazy different powers too, like supersonic booms and lightning and
right.
Half man, half bird. What's the other one? Right. Oh fuck! What was the other one? I'm missing a power. It doesn't. It ends up not mattering.
Yeah, because they all combine and make one annoying thing. Nezuko joins the battle. I feel like I just quoted Dragon Ball Z, Fighter Z. Nezuko joins the battle along with Genya with the Blammer.
Yeah, the first time we see a
gun in the series.
I know, and then obviously since
you gotta think this is like crazy technology at this point in the like.
Yeah, I mean he got a double barrel. That's kind of crazy, but he also had to like load the gunpowder. Like it was a time consuming.
I mean, this is the time. Listen, I'm assuming if you had a gun in this era, you were doing big things.
Oh yeah,
no one has a gun in the show. Yeah. Like, no one has had a gun in the show.
And the reason why he has a gun is because he has no breathing technique. And so they were just like, hey, listen, since you can't do a breathing technique, we'll just make you a gun out of using the same metals that the swords are made out of. So then you can still like blast their head off.
He has a sword still, though. I don't know.
Yeah, he still has a sword, though. Which, I don't know, man. He's a funny character.
So he also is a demon. By devouring demon flesh, Genya gains demonic characteristics such as fangs, dark eyeballs, unique yellow tips in his hair. Sometimes, presumably because of how its concentrated demon blood is, Genya can gain attributes related to the demons he devours. Like when he gained blah, 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 and a lot of stuff that are spoilers. So he gets like he's demon adjacent, you know what I'm saying? He looks cool as his second form, little demon form. Very, very cool. So they joined the battle. Go ahead.
I feel they just had to give him some type of different power. They were like, all right, enough breathing techniques. They're just like, let someone eat the demons.
Right. I mean, I guess the gun wasn't enough.
Yeah, the gun was definitely not enough.
So Nezuko enhances Tanjiro's sword, makes it like this flaming sword. I mean, at this point, they haven't finished the actual sword yet, so he's got this like dummy sword that he's got to use at this time. But Nezuko enhances it because she puts her blood demon art, which is fire, which is it's It's always a cool thing. They're both fire demon. They both have fire attributes with their history and all this other stuff like that. Anyway, fire sword. He sees the memories of the previous holder and has this whole like backstory. It's like, whoa, I see the memories of. It's all coming together now. Like this guy, who did this, and you learn all the fire dancing techniques and stuff. I'm trying to not spoil what happens in the future, which is why I say all that stuff. But he sees the memory of the previous holder, and the demons kind of get shook because they're reacting to also this kind of experience because they have Muzan's blood, and Muzan is afraid of the previous holder, the kind of like flame dance guy, Hashira.
The originator of this
the
breathing
OG.
shit.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. So they're a little shook as well. What other notes do I have here? Tanjiro discovers they have to kill the little guy. He uses his assumption because they've been getting their ass kicked for 25 minutes. And says, you know what, we probably need to kill the original one. That little fuck. I have Genya's fake ass Sasuke story in my notes. And then all the emotions merge together to form one angry as hell warrior. I also put in my notes. Let's go back over to Tokido. So Tokido has been blasted away. He's like, I gotta get back to the village. So he's running. He sees Kotetsu being attacked by a giant fucking fish. And he says, do I want to save this kid? I don't know. I gotta go back to this thing. I gotta save the Swordsmith village. That's more important. And then he hears Tanjiro in his head. It's like, be a good guy. Do great things. Be a great person.
Give him a Gary V. Give him a Gary V speech.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? Let me be a great person this time. He's a kid. Let me kill this giant fish. But little know that giant fish leads to the Upper Moon 4, Gyoko, water type. And he's given Tokido hell because he is jumping from vase to vase. He can't really get a hand on him. Doesn't really look like he has a fucking neck anyway. So it's an interesting kind of thing. But anyway, he traps Tokido in his water prison pot. It is a giant pot made out of water where Tokido will presumably drown in. And I think at one point he accepts that he's going to drown. He's like, you know what? I had a good life.
A lot of Naruto references in this.
Amen.
This arc.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But he presumes he's going to die, and then, of course, at this time, as we're approaching death, he uncovers all of his memories. I remember who I was. I remember why I'm here. I remember everything of the sort. And he frees himself, but also levels up because he gains the mark. And this mark, I believe it's the first time we see this mark that it isn't Tanjiro. So
yeah,
I'm trying to find out let me see. What's the mark actually called? Mark. Okay.
Is there an actual name for it?
I'm trying to figure it out because I don't want to spoil it too. I mean, everyone, the marks.
The mark appears twice.
Yeah, so I don't think we're spoiling it.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer marks, meaning explained. Okay. The marks, Demon Slayer marks grants the users increased power as well as the ability to slow the regeneration of demons. So it's a power up.
It's a power up.
I don't want to say it's like Super Saiyan. It's not.
It's a fan service. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like what does Naruto have? He gets that power of the nine tails,
Sage
right?
mode. Yeah.
Sage mode.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's like Sage mode.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like it. Anyway, Tokido gets it, and he's kicking many of an ass at this point because he see Kotetsu get stabbed, and he frees himself from the vase, and Anyway,
Kotetsu's a real child soldier. He was doing
He truly is. And then Kyoko, he awakens his like very Azalea Banks, Chloe Bailey mermaid form. And
Yeah, they definitely hit this is my final form.
yeah, and he frees himself from the pot, which ends up being a big mistake because then he gets his neck cut, his head cut off, and he's killed. To be honest with you, again, I feel like these. I don't know if it's because they spread it between two demons, but I feel like none of this was very impressive to me. Like, I didn't feel any more of a threat than any other thing. I actually felt like the last arc. Those Upper Moon
easily. I was thinking the same thing too while watching this. Like, I really feel like for these to be two Upper Moon demons, they got handled pretty easily.
Yeah,
I think like Tanjiro and them had a kind of a bigger problem, but Muchiro was like, "Oh, I'm drowning for a little bit," but he was like, "As soon as I get out this cage, I'm gonna whoop your ass," and like that's legit what happened. It's like as soon as he got out the cage, he whooped his ass.
Because the amazing demon. The Upper Moon Demon, like, he poisoned everybody. The last work, he poisoned everybody. He damn near killed everybody.
Yeah.
Tanjiro had broken fingers. All this, they had to use like sneaky ass tricks to end up beating him and all this other shit like that. And like this one, it was just like,
he lost an arm. Like that, I feel it was so much more gruesome. And so
they had to
more,
cut both of their heads off at the same exact fucking time. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't really impressed, to be honest with you, with kind of like what's going.
Like this arc, man, there was just a lot of. I feel like this is like the most fan servicey arc, so far. Just because you even look at like now, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around now at this point.
No, go ahead, be jumping. We almost at the end. So
yeah, it's like what's her name? Kenroji, like when she appears, like obviously she's a Shira, she's really strong at this time. They're fighting.
She appears in the battle and gets some good moments and stuff.
Yeah, she gets some good moments. They're fighting. They're fighting Hantengu's like all his emotions together. Yeah, like his final form.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. So since she's fighting him, she's holding off this dragon. Like Tanjiro randomly can figure out how to do thunder breathing at one point. Like it's just a lot of kind of like highlight reel shit, which was cool and visually looked really cool. But story wise, I was kind of just like this isn't really doing it for me.
Yeah, a week to week. Essentially, this gave you like you said, fan service. Like you want to see these fights, you want to see how it gets down, but none of it really kind of pushed it to a new level in terms of what we actually saw. But yeah, the love of Shira enters the battle again. Gets half a whole episode about like this backstory, which no one is really that interested.
God,
no offense to people who stand the love of Shira. No, yeah, it just wasn't that great.
It was not. It's like, no, she's really strong and likes to eat a lot and kind of got some, boorish attributes, which whatever, who cares? Like, listen, bro, niggas don't like they muscle. Like some people don't like the muscle mommies. That's on them.
But she has a thing for Taquito, I think, right? Is that
no Igoro, the one that gives her the socks, the one with the snake in the eye.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone is trying to decapitate Hantengu. They're chasing him through the woods, trying to like get at him. They got Nezuko chasing him, they got Genya chasing him, and then
Genya's throwing trees.
When's the last time you chased something or someone?
When's the last time I chased somebody? Like really try to run down on somebody, or like just chased after them, like tag.
I guess chased after them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not incriminating myself, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. When's the last time I just like really ran around like after somebody? It couldn't have been that long. I'm like, I got little cousins and kids around all the time, so.
Okay.
Usually, like little people aren't fast though. Not like saying little people like toddlers and kids. Right. Like they're just shifty. They're just like real shifty and slimy.
Yeah. No, you're right, and we're old and slow and all this other shit like
Yeah,
that.
like I'm like I
Right,
could get you on a like if it comes down to a straight line run, I got you. I'm gonna hawk you down. Like when
right.
you're starting to dart and dash and make these little quick cuts, I can. It might
Very
take me a little while
chance
longer.
and shit. Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, like you said, Tanjiro uses Zenitsu's thunderclap technique. Just like he told me about it, and he was just like, "Hey, here's how you do it. It's in your knees," and he just uses it.
it's like
To pro-
it's like when
I'm like,
like
that's
you
not
go to
fair.
the like when you go to the gym and the guy like explains how to deadlift to you one time. It's like you got it
Yeah,
perfectly.
but I'm like, that's not fair. I mean, I'm not gonna say we haven't seen people in other shows use other characters' techniques, but I feel like this show specifically hinges on the originality of these characters that also depends on their techniques. Like Mr. Hishira isn't doing anything that the Love Hashira is doing. Like they're not borrowing techniques. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we don't do that. We don't do that. But apparently
Nah,
Tanjiro,
Tanjiro is just like picking up breathing techniques like left and right.
yeah, he didn't use he didn't use any of Inosuke's techniques. Not yet anyway. Um but anyway, the demon grabs Tanjiro as he's trying to like cut off his neck. He grabs him because he is now the little guy. He's now transformed into a giant thing because he's at peak anger mode and he's trying to thing. Nezuko and Genya try to free him from his clutches, and everyone falls off of a cliff. Um,
Into a
Tanjiro, go ahead.
bright field.
Yeah. Tanjiro knows they have to go after him because Hentengu is now chasing a couple of swordsmiths because he's like, yo, if I eat them, I can regain my strength so I can really like bang on them or really get out of here. One of them. As they come from the Gyoko fight, like if you have time to like, transport yourself from one fight to another, the fight couldn't have been that intense. You know what I'm saying? Like he shows up, he beats him in episode 8, shows up at in episode 10 or something along those lines, and throws a blade. He's like, we're finished, but it's not really finished because the swordsmith is like, how crazy was it that the swordsmith, despite the threat of the upper moon demon, was still like crafting that blade? He was like, you're not going to like thing me from this blade. And
It was like his roots Kuta Kente moment. It's like, what's your name, boy? Kuta Kente.
He
Like,
was in the mountains training for this moment and was not going to be
he's like
disturbed
getting
creating.
whipped and he's getting whipped and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna sit here and hone this blade right here.
Right. But the sun is coming up, which presents a problem because Nezuko is out here. So the sun is coming up and he sees Hentengu chasing after these things and he can't let him get them. He can't let them kill him and he can't let them like escape because this is the whole, what are we doing here if they escape? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's forced to make this decision. And in the anime, I would say this is where the adaptation of the show takes it to another level because I think it's way more impactful in the anime than it is in the manga. Because Tanjiro's having this like panic attack, and it's very interesting to actually like animate a whole panic attack going on. Because he's breathing hard, he can't like he's really like he can't make a decision. And Nezuko's frying up. She's looking like, when they bring the fajitas out and shit.
Yeah,
like,
she's sizzling. It's hot sizzling plate. She's hot sizzling, yeah.
But it's not him who makes the decision to go after the demon. It's Nezuko who makes it for him. She does a little judo flip, sends him into the air. He realizes what's going on. He's like, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. And he runs up on the demon using all his flame Hashira-ness and slices off their head. After, this is like the 4th head slice we've seen in this arc, so it's not really.
Yeah, the head slice. I feel like they wasted some head slice moments.
Especially with the flame thing as well. He's using the flame. He has not. There has yet to be. He might have done it one time in this arc. There's yet to be a water breathing technique. He's all flamed up.
Yeah, no, he's all. Yeah, I don't. He's pretty much given up on water.
He was like,
He's like, y'all got a mist guy. You already got a water guy.
I feel
There's
like
no
you already
reason.
got a water guy. Like,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. Even though those water techniques in season 1 I thought were fire, but yeah, he is running up on
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
Rengoku's.
has he pulled water techniques out since season 1?
He has. I think he used some of the last arc, but essentially, like, this arc is very, because of the whole connection and like recovering a couple of the things, he's using it. But I feel like he also uses it once during this arc. I could be wrong. I could be.
God,
Anyway,
I can't remember him ever using it.
I mean, it's about to become a problem in the next arc. So, because Genya is definitely going to be like, yo, you haven't even used my water shit.
Yeah, like, bro, what did I sacrifice myself for?
Yeah, you
Get
don't even
on.
use water anymore, traitor. Either way, that's a little spoilers. I had to give up one. But eventually, you know, he's stricken by grief because he feels like he's sacrificed Nezuko, and the whole point of this entire thing was, whole point of his journey is to save Nezuko, but all his point of responsibility is demon slayers, to make sure to rid the world of demons, and get information on Muzan. So he's put in this place where he has to choose this rock and a hard place. It's very, traumatic decision. It's giving me Attack on Titan. We got to choose between Erwin and Armin. And that kind of decision on like what they're actually going to do. Unlike Attack on Titan, he gets both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of it like choosing one and suffering the consequences of not having the other, he gets everything that he wants. Because in probably I would say this is the most pivotal moment in the show since they first met Muzan. And that's in season 1. So
I feel that this whole arc was just a setup for that.
But I think
also, how long were they fighting for? If they were fighting until sunrise, can you imagine fighting someone for like 8 hours?
I don't think
unless they were like
hours,
legit, unless they were fighting, like even then, like imagine like getting woken up at like 4 a.m. to fight somebody.
I mean, maybe. I mean, woken up to your entire village being demolished by shit, so might as well. But I think this is the most pivotal moment in the series since then, and that happened in season 1. And so it's interesting that for a long time watching the series, I think while we've been amazed by the action sequences and the animation and all the things that Ufotable has provided to the series, a lot hasn't contributed to the main arc of this series, which is killing Muzan. We've seen them have battles against upper moons. We've seen them have battles against lower moons. We've seen all these great things. Like the Entertainment District arc is fantastic. The other arc before that also very good. But like, where does this? I think the development of the characters has been established, but like, what does this mean to the main plot of the show has always been the question. So this part is so significant in the series, and it's really why I was looking forward to this arc, because the end is magic, and to see what they did with this, it's really a Disney fucking movie at the end of this fucking arc. Because they got music when they reveal that Nezuko can now walk in the sun, and she can talk, and it's just something that they've never seen before from a demon, and she's 101 at this point, and it's a great moment. I think it's the most wholesome moment that we have, but it's also like the most like game-changing flip on its kind of neck. Like, yo, so she can walk in the sun. So Muzan, like, what happens from here? Let's get to Muzan, because Muzan
Real
is
nigga.
tweaking. He's tweaking.
All right, real nigga right here.
Is he?
He was about to get fed his morning tea or afternoon tea.
He probably never ate that shit.
He was like his afternoon tea on, and next thing you know, it was just like,
Oh, I feel something in my bones, like in my
he was
DNA.
he was like, woo wee. Was like, finally, my answers, my prayers. I'd be so happy you behead a person. Like, he was
He's
that
looking for the
ecstatic.
blue spider lily and shit. I don't even think we.
Bro, he was on a mission. He was like, man, I'm trying to defeat the sun. That's such a wild goal, and that's so hilarious. Like, I'm trying to defeat the sun. The sun's my own immortal enemy, and finally, the answer. God has answered my dreams and my prayers. Took off that woman's head. Took off the other woman's head. He was like, nah, it's time to put on the Michael Jackson suit and let's get on out of here.
It's funny you say this. I kind of feel like there was a Michael Jackson reference in his backstory. Kind of. He's very
Man
ill.
in the Mirror?
No. I feel like he's very ill. All right, so they introduce this is to me was the wildest thing because I didn't think they would actually introduce it. And his actual backstory is supposed to come much later in the show. So I feel like this was a treat that we got this at the end of this episode, but it makes complete sense with the adaptation of the show. Because at this
and
point,
also how many backstories we've fucking already gotten this season. So
right.
It's like, well,
and
what's one more?
So anyway, I don't think we ever get a mention of the blue spider lily or anything of that thing, but we get the history behind it. So we get Muzan's pretty much like there's a lot of anime exclusive shit in it, but we learn about his backstory about how he was initially incredibly sick, and he went to this one doctor who was planning to help him using this like very unorthodox technique, which was using the blue spider lily. He finds that it made him more sick. So he kills the doctor, the one guy who had the answers to anything, but it also made him into a demon, which is very interesting. He gets all his demon powers. He gets all, I don't know if you can hear his writing. He gets all his demon powers. He gets all his things. And he becomes a pretty much a full-fledged demon. But the one thing that he cannot, overcome, like you said, is the sun. He can't. He pretty much can't overcome the sun, and that's really why he was looking for the blue spider lily. So hopefully that holds the key to things of how he can overcome the sun. Now that Nezuko can overcome the sun, he's like, oh shit, I don't need this fucking flower anymore.
Yeah, I don't need none of this shit.
I can just eat Nezuko.
It's like easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he was happy. He was ecstatic. He was like, my life just got so much easier.
Oh yeah. He's like, what? Okay. This is great turn of events here. Worked out in my favor. So he puts on his hat and he leaves the room. And we don't see him again until when everything begins. Lady Tamayo.
I love how his like sickness was him turning into a demon. Like that's his sickness.
Yeah, but you know what?
Turning into a demon. He's just like, this doctor is keeping the demon at bay, but it's also making me sick because he wants to be on demon time.
I feel like the doctor in him. I feel like it was a low-key Michael Jackson reference in that of like, the doctor that killed Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Trying to give him things to improve his health.
That Michael Jackson pill list is ridiculous. You ever seen it?
Yeah, yes. Trying to give him things to improve his health, but he's sick. Practically almost ends up killing Muzan. The only difference is Michael Jackson dies and Muzan. I mean, he's alive, but is he really?
Who?
Muzan. I guess, yeah. I mean, as a demon, yeah. I mean, he's got unflowing life. He can't be killed. He is very much so, for the time being, it seems like he's, what do you call it? Immortal? Since he's like lived for at least 1,000 years. Yeah.
You just can't go outside. You can't enjoy a day at the beach.
You just can. Tamiyo writes a letter and is like, oh my god, thank you for killing all of those demons. You have really improved. our scientific hypothesis here that we can use. And thank you for all the blood from various demons. We can finally come up with something where hopefully we can restore demons back into humans. And they talk about how that dude from season 1 who got turned into a demon is now a human again. Or at least can live human, but with only like a little bit of blood. Like he still needs
Yeah,
blood from time to time.
need some just sprinkled on the top like parsley.
Yeah, but other than that, he can kind of live. And the ending is pretty good. I mean, the ending is Tanjiro. He leaves the city. He's a hero. He gets cheered by all the swordsmiths and stuff. It's very Disney, but it's it's something that's not in the manga. But it's a they do a good job with this adaptation of the show. So again, I want to ask, why is this show so fucking popular and so amazing?
It really is the simplicity of it. It's such it's an easy gateway drug into anime. There's not too much you have to overthink about it. Um the story is easy to digest. The animation is always next level, and it's always like mind blowing. It's easy to fall in love like the characters. Like there's really hard to dislike a character. Shoot, they even try to make it hard to dislike demons, like, which is wild. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where if you're just looking for something, I mean, it's action packed. But like I just feel like if you're looking for something, to get into anime or something like that, I feel that Demon Slayer is such a perfect way to get into it. And I think that's just kind of I don't know. I feel that is what kind of draws to its like popularity of just being able to be like, oh man, like I can watch this show easily.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head with the simplicity of it. I think it's just very easy to follow. Like even like to where as we see anime kind of evolving and the concepts kind of like really transforming and kind of being taken to another level, this keeps it incredibly simple. Even to the point where the show is enjoyed, but maybe like essentially it's 2023 when this is airing. Show started in 2019. We haven't had anything truly significant to the plot in like 4 years, but people still enjoy it because it's a story about a brother and sister. It's a story about you trying to slay demons and all these other stuff like that. The main character is very, he doesn't get any. I like Tanjiro in a sense. I mean, I think he's compared to most main characters, he's not as dynamic as others, but he's a very hard worker. And you don't really you see his progress through the show, not through like crazy power ups, but it's legitimately by like hard work and like him training his ass off to try to get to this point. So there's something admirable about that as well. It's interesting. I think the demons, the villains haven't been played up as much in this show as it could have been. Again, a lot of them are just like stop points. Hey, here's an upper moon or a lower moon. We got to kill them. But they never really contribute. And we learn about their bad character, but what does it mean to the giant plot of the show? Like, what does it truly mean? But again, like you said, the simplicity is kind of like what draws people in. Demon Slayer is you don't even have to watch it to like kind of like what's going on. You can keep it running in the background.
Yeah.
It's not going to trip you out. There's not going to be many plot twists. There's not going to be anything. And maybe that's what we subconsciously like. Maybe that's what the masses subconsciously like.
Because I feel like now, like in terms of his counterparts and other shonen, like it's always like some type of, like you said, like we didn't wait 3-4 seasons to figure out like Genya had a brother or like the backstory. Like they give it to you like on a plate, easy to digest. They're just like, here, just take it. Like here, there you go. There's a story. There's what you need to know, and like keep it pushing. And I think that now in a era of shonen where twists and turns and all these like things popping up and like long game is a real thing. Something that's like, nah, we're not playing the long game. Like we're trying to get you in, get you out. It probably feels refreshing.
So with that said, that marks the end of us covering Demon Slayer, the Swordsmith Village arc. let's see what else we have next. Oh, interesting. Next on the slate. Oh boy. So the next time you listen to us, we will be talking about Naruto Shippuden's Pain Assault arc.
I really wish I was. I really wish I was live tweeting my watch.
It would have been great.
It would have been.
Have not seen this the second time. I saw this all the first time, and I was like, "Oh, I get why people like this show."
Yeah.
This is kind of like it's a very pivotal moment in the series, and with a very, I guess, very notable set of villains or villain in the show. I got to revisit this. I'm intrigued to revisit it. You've been revisiting it for the entire summer up to this point.
I've been on this show, like, I didn't know. I legit was like, all right, listen, I gotta refresh my memory on everything. I was just like, I originally I was just gonna watch the arc and keep it pushing, but I was like, no, I need to like refresh my memory on everything because a lot of things.
Well, I'm gonna lean on you because I will not be refreshing my memory on everything.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no, I feel you. But I think that within that I definitely got and put into a chokehold with Shippuden.
Okay. We haven't talked, so we're gonna be reviewing that next time. So in 2 weeks from now, whenever this episode comes out in 2 weeks, we'll be doing Naruto Shippuden Pain Assault arc. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you binge that stuff. Quick thoughts as we're talking about this. The first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 came out. Your quick thoughts if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. All right.
You told me it was calm. I was just like, all right, I don't.
Yeah, nah, nothing starts yet.
You told me, I was like, all right, cool. I'll watch it when I can get to it. I'll watch it sometime this week.
It's
JJK back though, baby.
It's
weird
back.
schedule.
It looks great. Yeah, the schedule came out and it's very, very weird. Essentially, they're doing the first 5 episodes, which will be the Gojo Pass arc. Then they're going to take like 3-week break, and then they're going to start the Shibuya incident. I'm not going to doubt them and how they
movie.
They're recapping the first season. They're showing the movie, and then they're going to do another recap another week.
That's so weird.
I don't expect none of that on Crunchyroll. So that's all like Fuji TV shit. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting summer. So make sure you guys stay tuned, stay ready, stay blessed. We're here at Kame House. It is pouring on my side of the island.
No sirens this episode.
No sirens, not yet. No, or maybe I muted them. Who knows? But until then, we'll see you guys next time on the lookout. Take care.